Hello, I am the Lord Gom, the DM of the DC20 Lost Mines of Phandelver DC20 Homebrew campaign, and my family is in the background being very loud, so I apologize for that. But, other than that, Ash is not going to be joining us, and Tony is going to be here briefly. He'll be staying in chat for a little bit because he is sick and is sad. But, other than that, Jaku, would you like to introduce your character? Yourself and your character.
Okay. As normal, I am Jaku, going to be playing Awake, the slimiest barbarian of the bunch. That may be a bit of a low energy session for us all, because, well, it just seems like there's something going
Nerd.
around. I am fine today, but tomorrow, but you might be able to hear my voice on camera. I'm coming down with something too.
Mr. Samarand.
Oh, uh, hello, Samarand playing half elf, half dragonborn rogue. Mikaela Dawnax-Sklryb is all.
Alright, cool. And next we have Spring.
Hello, I'm playing Spring, and it's currently spring for me. So we were rejoicing in that pun.
Nice. Alright. That should be closed. Alright, so that is gonna go there. Okay, cool. When last we left off, you all had laid siege to Cragmaw Castle, defeated them pretty handily, slain King Grawl, got all of the hostages out of there, and also managed to collapse the castle as you left. And as you guys were beginning to depart from that place, Mikaela, you weren't here yesterday, but we did do some stuff off camera as you met up with Yimik and did some stuff with him. Would you like to say anything about how that went?
Yeah, basically, just I think Spring did more with him. Where Ymik was going to now lead the goblins to a life of hunting rather than of raiding travelers. And he would try to take control because he has a big army behind him now of a bunch of goblins.
Okay. And with that kind of alliance confirmed, as he requested that you find some way for them to have like a trade access in Neverwinter because that's where the money is. And then Spring mentioned Enoch the Butcher, and that he might be willing to do business with them potentially. And with that quick interaction out of the way, you all continued further south. I think, Mikaela, you checked on Wolf Manor, found some weird, like, Wolfman thing, but that the activity in the area was dramatically lessened. Then you rejoined with your party and completed the journey all the way back to Phandelver. Right. So I assume there's gonna be nothing else you guys wanted to do on the journey. If so, then stop me. Because after that, all of you guys arrive in the city of Phandelver. Okay. Now in Phandelver, let me make sure the camera is kind of focused. You all return after a couple of days' journey south from Cragmaw Castle with Gundren in your party. He has been by far the slowest member among you, and has let me put him up there. By far the slowest member among you, and has been very grateful to you guys for helping him and saving him, and just been generally chatting it up with you guys. But when you arrive in the city of Phandalin, he is going to go over to Bart's provisions to talk business. If you'd be able to talk business with him there if you would like to, or just ask general questions about what happened. And if you don't want to, then that's fine. He is there. And other than that, you hear that the people of the city of Phandelver are generally like happy that you guys are back and that you saved Gunnar because he's like a pretty big benefactor of the city. And so people are generally it's not like people are like partying in the streets, but there's a cheerful vibe as at this great success and potentially disbanding or the goblin raiding groups. So people are thanking you and being maybe get like lower prices at the inn or the bar or whatever. And it's just generally people are you're having a nice day. So who acts first?
I assume Tony, because he has the question for Gundren.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tony approaches the Gundren Rockseeker in his place as he is like approaches Bart and basically dismisses him and tells him to go behind the go in the back room. And then he turns with a big smile and is like, "Welcome to Phandelver and my store." I'm gonna go ahead and remove Ash. She will just be chilling in the inn, trying to get acquainted with everything. So.
Oh yeah, why is Ash not here?
Just busy.
Ah, I mean he is a DC20 dev. It makes sense.
Yes. We better see kobolds in the next edition, or I will burn everything to the ground. Cool. Sweet.
You heard it here,
go for the
folks.
first office.
The RDM is threatening the DC20 dev.
Oh yes, 1000%.
Gonna send this to Coach.
In quite a flavorful fashion, as the dev is playing a fire-based character.
Okay. So, while Spring is typing, or while Tony is typing, Spring, when you go over to the postal service, you see a character that some among your party recognize, but you do not, and he is a halfling man who wears generally like dark clothes. Looks a little bit like the archetypical rogue, and he will take your note, just kind of like give you like a slight nod, and then by the time you turn around, he disappears, and is off to deliver that somewhere. Is there anything specifically that you are mentioning in the note? Besides
he's reporting on what we hope is the dealt with out of control wolf population. He's mentioning the goblins and asking if Enoch will work with them. And then he's also just in passing asking if mutated wolfmen are normal.
I think you would definitely know that is very abnormal. Like, without a question.
Cool. I wasn't entirely sure if they were like hybrid druid people that are a niche but are kind of normal.
When
Yes.
you say that, make me a history check with advantage as Ash tells you something. Or not with advantage. History check and add a help die. Because Ash knows something about that specific aspect of history. Okay.
17.
With a 17, Ash informs you that, there is a branch of the Druidic people that are they, well, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they give curses to people as a means of like karmic punishment. Like the typical witch of the woods that curses the greedy children and rewards the selfless ones or whatever. Stuff like that exists and is a well known and frowned upon practice. And other than that, what you do know about that specifically is those transformations are not. They don't. They're instantaneous. They don't happen slowly over time. So anything that was like in a halfway state would either be some kind of failed version of that, like a curse that went wrong somehow, or fully not at all anything to do with literal turning people into animals.
Got it. Then Spring will pass that along to Enoch.
Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and make a note of that. Yeah. Tonē, can you tell me what specifically you were asking Gundren? And while Tonē is typing his question, is there anything that Mikaela or Awake are specifically asking Gundren?
I mean, if I remember correctly, in that mansion, it was the Rock Seekers and stuff making a deal with the guys. Let me think for a second. I know. What do you know about a man who enters dreams, spiders, that type of deal?
Okay. So, I think we'll answer Tony's question first, then we'll go to that one. So when you ask why he was secretly transporting the shard, his immediate response is like one of like indignation. Like, why would you suggest something like that? Assuming that you explain what the shard is and whatnot. He sounds immediately offended. Give me 1 second. Let me find out where I was writing my notes about what he's going to say. When he says that, you guys immediately know that he was having you transport the thing. So whoever wants to, make me an insight check. And he's like, what?
Okay.
A rock that curses people? Ah, that's preposterous.
Insight is
How dare you
+3.
insult my, what are you trying to imply?
Not a D29, but I mean, it didn't roll above it.
Roll properly.
Yeah, my mistake.
Would you like to roll intimidation, Tonē?
Well, that's a 10.
Mm-hmm. Cool. You do still have might, though. With a 10, the only thing you notice is that he seems he seems offended, and you're not sure if he's just like, that sounds like something unsavory, or if he sounds. Sometimes when you know that something is true, you are more offended of being accused of it, if that makes sense. Like, almost like an insecurity coming to light. All right. Mikaela, are you doing anything or just supervising? Yes, and do remember that you all get a hero point at the top of every session.
Alright, let me
Oh,
put that in.
I gotta mark that too.
Okay.
After all of them are done with their questions, Mikaela basically just has general questions, so I'll wait for them.
Okay.
So yeah,
Um,
supervising for now.
with a 13, you see that as he's looking kind of like offended at this, you see like he starts to get like a little bit sweaty, and then breaks eye contact, and then he takes kind of like a deep breath, and then says, "Look, you know, I told you all that I was investigating that idiot Nesnar and the stuff he was doing." Then he kind of like pauses. I did some research, and I have a feeling that dude was by no means any master of the arcane. He's basically got cantrips and nothing else. So if he was to try to do something that had magic on some large scale, he would be doing it with borrowed power. And I did some research, and it looks like he was trying to gather a bunch of. There was some mysterious person gathering a bunch of magical artifacts to do a bunch of random things, but the way I looked at them is they're more like banks of magical power that he was going to use to do something with. And I happened to buy one of them off of a messenger or a carrier who was trying to take them somewhere else. And I was studying it in my in Neverwinter. Who would you say was closest with Mahina among you guys?
She seemed to like awake pretty much. A lot, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Then please make me a history check. Awake. Guess his character, Sam.
That is a +5. Yay. Because I have history slash
Okay.
RD20 +5.
Okay.
That's a 23.
With a 23, you remember way back in session 1 when you guys met him at his house to receive the quest. Mahina decided to look at the work that was on the desk, and there was schematics and like blueprints and stuff that was maybe more like research notes than blueprints that had a shard of rock with. Wow, my family is very loud. Sorry. But there was a black shard of rock with yellow text on it that he was trying to decipher what it said. And with a 23, you are more than aware that he had it for some time, and that going to Phandelver was like a last resort. But you do recall that he had it in his house from the beginning.
Then why bring it closer to Nesnar? Why get him why get him even closer to his source of power?
Because I need to figure out what he's doing with it specifically. Because I know a battery is just not a battery. It doesn't do anything by itself. So I need to figure out what potential this thing has and why he's trying to use stuff like this. So I was planning to go to our lab research. I don't know, forge lab, whatever it is that he uses to make magic items. I was gonna go there and try to study this thing and learn more about it. And all of my equipment is here because this is where we mine the ore to make magic items. And this is where all of the refinement and the cool shit happens. Though it does alarm me to have it so close to his base of power.
Well, I think if he really is as weak as you say, then you can provide us with some smoke powder bombs or whatever. We can go in there, bring it down with him inside, cut him off from the outside world. He'll suffocate eventually, or he'll get crushed under the rocks. one of the two. Or we could just go up there and take care of them. Oh, for the right price, of course.
Roll me an influence check. As you say that, you see
I'm
him.
getting hero point, and I'm hero point. Screw that.
So, you're fighting if you rolled another nat one. Okay. So with an 18, you see that he takes your words, and then kind of like sizes you up a little bit. And then there's a deep sigh, so he like leans back into the desk behind him, and then thinks for a second. Well, the first problem is that I don't know where he is. It's been a long time since the ritual happened. So I have no idea. He could have gone fucking all the way up to the kingdom by now, potentially. Second thing, even if I was sure that he was still here somewhere, with more pieces of this thing, I still don't have any clear idea of where his headquarters are. Probably the mountains somewhere. That seemed to be where the originating point was, but I really don't know. And the third thing is, even if we were to cave in the main entrance to some cave, they typically have like 7 or 8 ways to get in there, so that wouldn't be enough to trap him down there. But if you were to find him and try to kill him, I mean, I'm not gonna begrudge you anything. Dude is clearly something wrong with him. But he like gestures to the sky, like mentioning the aurora. He did something right, which means that he did something right to cause that aurora to happen, and it's more than likely that he's either more powerful than I knew, or has more powerful people helping him, or has managed to tap into the batteries and is now juiced up as a result. You could probably fight him. You could probably kill him. I don't know, but he just stops. I just don't know.
I have reason to believe he might be connected to another person I saw, but no telling. That might be who he's drawing power from. I mean, Tonē here. He gets his power from a dragon, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure how the magic folk work, but it's if contractual magic is a thing, works like I think, then he may have woken up someone down there and made a deal.
You see Gundren's eyes go wide as he thinks for a second. Do you guys share everything you've learned so far about the Aurora with him, or are you going to keep him kind of in the dark because you don't trust him?
I'm fine sharing it, but I'll let the others decide.
Spring doesn't particularly trust Gunrun, but he's not there to influence this.
You can probably show up at whatever time that you want to.
Mikaela will share as long as there is equal information being gotten in return.
Okay. So he said that he doesn't know where Nesnar is, basically what spell he was trying to cast. All he really knows is that he did something. And he, Gundren is knowledgeable about magic and stuff, but has not been doing any of the research that you guys have been doing, and also is pretty exhausted. So, assuming he knows nothing, what do you share? From this point.
Does he know anything about the blight?
Okay, so just to be clear, that shard we were smuggling, that shard we were smuggling, is it similar to the glowing rocks we found, like the glowing arrowhead I found, and also, okay. So I would share anyway. That's just like, yeah, we killed something, and a giant thing similar to the shard went into my chest, and and it. I wouldn't tell him fully about the dream, but like that's where the whole question of a man with spiders who comes to you in your dreams come from. That's where I'd ask him about that.
Okay. When you say that thing about the monster, he just kind of thinks for a second and says, "Well, one of the things that I did notice, I had in the back of my mind when we were when we were leaving from Neverwinter, was that everything that attacked Neverwinter, was not intelligent in some way. Like all of the monsters that were like, he kind of thinks like the level of intelligence of maybe like a goblin or something a little bit less than that. Anything that had some form of organization to it, like smart enough to do that, was normal during the effects. Only the monsters that were like blind and single-minded and don't have any like forethought or planning or intelligence to them, those are the kinds of monsters that went berserk that day. So if you're telling me that some monster had a more concentrated piece of this, because this was like a far out effect from the epicenter of this. So if there was a monster that had a concentrated amount of this magic, it could be that it is enchanting the minds of, or souls or something, of monsters in some way. Like that this thing has some ability, some control over things. And he just kind of like looks at the other three of you. Were you affected by any of this at all?
As I said, I had a dream about a guy. He offered, I don't know where I was, but apparently it took me out for like 30 hours, even though it only felt like at least 10 minutes or so in my mind. I saw a guy messing with corpses. One that was very similar to me, except human. So my slime for a heart.
If you mention the spider motif, then he'll kind of pause for a second and say, well, the Black Spider is a well-known criminal who does human smuggling. Slime people, corpses. Mikaela, you made some insights about what had happened before. Do you share any of that with him?
Happened before what?
What happened during the siege to the other nations, or the other cities? Sorry.
Oh yeah, during. uh, yeah, she would tell him about how the war has caused a bunch of monsters to be strangely coordinated and with their attacks and know exactly how to defeat the defenses of each town. Just those words, not really explaining a lot of it, as she learned herself.
Okay. Monsters that dumb definitely can't exploit the weaknesses of a city. So at this point, I'm definitely certain that whatever Nesnar did, he was able to take control. He was definitely in control. This was not some kind of wild, chaotic thing. This was a coordinated attack. That much I'm certain of. I'm losing track of all the information you shared with him. There's Awake, there's the Dream, there's... you mentioned the spider motif. You mentioned the spider motif, right. And then there was the Black Spider, and he was talking about him. Okay, cool. Okay.
That was a rock seeker, man. Like, okay, I know there was something with the rock seeker on it, but was that mansion belonged to the rock seekers?
No, that mansion belonged to the Tressender family that formed the city of Phandelver and was in control of it for a while. There was a younger version of Gundren's father who was seen making a deal with the Rockseeker with the Tressender family.
Okay. Then I'd pipe up with just like, well, we did find that giant obelisk thing. Not giant obelisk. We did find that monster inside the Tressender Manor, and we just so happened to see your father making a deal with the Tressenders. Is that a coincidence, or is that simply was your father into some shady stuff?
Roll me your choice of either influence or insight, as you say that.
Okay, I'm going to do. They're both the same. I'm going to do. I'm gonna do insight. Yeah.
Okay.
14.
Okay. With a 14, I'm gonna roll a secret roll. Boop. You see that when you say that, his at first he looks like a little bit confused, and then realizing the ramifications of what you're saying. He like he makes he takes a deep breath and then looks down, and says, "Our family was going through hard times not long before, not long like before his birth, but soon after that, there was a sudden like surge of wealth, and we were able to become these magical, people, that were at the head of the research into magic items, and the enchantment thereof. Knowing my father, it would not surprise me if he had done something, made some deal. But why would they need something like that?" And then he connects the dots that you connected before, about the basically using people as experiments and then refining his smuggling thing by literally turning people into objects and then back in other places, and being able to do all of that. As all of this, as you guys are like connecting all of these thoughts about the black spider and all this stuff with transmutation and whatnot, I think Gundren would. Alright, so he knows all the things that he knows, and he's now being shared with all the stuff that you know. The black spider, this guy that's been intervening in all of your dreams as well. I think Gundren is going to say, at this point, Nesnar is a threat, but if the black spider is wrapped up in all of this some way, it wouldn't surprise me if Nesnar was coordinating with him to do something, because of the nature of the magic at hand, and how it was related to transmutation in some way. Then he pauses. You mentioned the contractual magic. Typically,
Yeah.
when contracts are formed between such beings, and Tony would be familiar with what he's saying, obviously, a contract isn't, by the nature of there being a contract, both sides have something to gain from the bargain, and one of the ways to edge a deal in your favor is to cause the other side to be in some, basically have some kind of leverage on them, but also if you have them in a weak spot where they are cornered, and they without your help they will be screwed basically, then you can get a lot more out of a deal than might otherwise be possible. Maybe when Nesnar did his summoning ritual, he was trying to curse this thing, or change it or weaken it in some way, such that he would be able to exert greater power over it. And if it was, something powerful enough to make a warlock pact with, it stands to reason that he would need to have someone who has better control over such things. But what does the black spider get out of all of this by helping Nesnar?
Well, is it possible that the black spider, I don't know, is it possible that he may not even be alive? If he's infiltrating dreams, he either has some sort of magic that can do it, or maybe he doesn't have a physical form.
You see Gundren look like genuinely terrified at the notion of that. because you basically just got the concept of like if the boogeyman was real. So he was like, I don't want to think about that. That is terrifying. I mean, it would definitely explain how he has been as prolific a criminal as he was. People in this world have different lifespans, so it's not entirely impossible that he's just like some sort of elf that's been living for hundreds of years, or something else. But if he didn't have a physical form, then he would be basically impossible to track or capture. It's not impossible. It's not impossible, but.
I mean, that would explain as in some way what the black spider might get out of it. Maybe these batteries that Nesnar's getting are. Tony, you're more interested. You're more the magic guy here. You might be able to tell me if this is real, but maybe these batteries can act as a conduit of sorts, because to make a body. I've learned a little bit about transmutation in the past weeks with Mikaela. I'm still not the best at it, but I think that's right.
I don't know much. I just gave it all to Edward. Figure out.
Who's Edward?
The guy who's Octavius.
He's one of the alchemists way at the south of town. Like, over there.
I see.
Yeah. So,
I mean, that would also explain all these like weird creations and turning people into different things. Like he might be trying to make a suitable vessel. If that theory is correct, after all.
well, would make sense. It explain why they would be working together. Nesnar would get some sort of power from this thing. If this guy was able to possess some powerful monster, that would be dramatic. That would be like a dramatic change in the status quo for him, at least.
Well, actually, thinking on it, if we're talking about non-physical, like this thing not having a physical form, is it possible he might, and if possession is on the table, is it possible that he is possessing Nesnar?
How much do you know about elves, Awake?
Not much. One of my family was an elf, but they died.
Let me look at the elf traits. What's one of them they have? Peerless Sight. Let me find that. Because he is a drow. So, do they have... They don't. Okay. So, let's say that was changed. Oh, no. They do. Okay, Elven Will. So, you see, Gordon think for a second. He's like, well, he is a drow. And drow themselves are known... elves are known for being naturally resistant to psychic effects. And not only that, but he's dealing with the Underdark, who are themselves known for preying on such things. So I'm not going to put it past him due to the bumbling idiot, but if he knew what he was getting into, then I think he would have taken enough precautions to not be susceptible to it. And he could definitely be being influenced by him, but full-on possession, I don't think it's possible. And their interests align closely enough that I don't... who knows? But... That specific aspect seems less likely to me.
Anybody else have any ideas here?
No, Spring kind of tuned out after the wolves were ignored, and I'm very, very lost.
Alright, so, he does not. Nesnar is a man. The drow you saw was definitely female. But they're both drow, so possible. It's possible that they're in cahoots or related somehow, but that all you know is that it's also a female drow. But as you mentioned the drow at Cragmaw, you see Gundren look like almost like sick, as he says that there was someone there who stole something from me. Like, any of this magical item stuff is fine, you know, I can replace it. But there's a map that I had with me that was also something I was looking to exploit during my time here in Phandelver.
Was
Sorry?
the map on the bright white parchment?
Gundren nods. You guys know Phandelver is a mining town, right? And it deals with mining magical things sometimes. Well, way back in the history of Phandelver, there was a mine belonging to a guy named Phandelver. He got filled.
It's a lost mine of Phandelver? No.
He nodded. That's exactly what it is.
No, I wasn't even saying that in character. I was being
I know.
facetious.
But yeah, that's exactly the thing. Used to be out of a mine called Wave Echo Cave. The location of the cave has been lost to history for a while. But one of my workers had just found this on one of the mining sites as he, pulls out like a scratch of paper that is. He pulls out like what looks to be his notes on the map, which are very sparse and incomplete. And I was in the process of like deciphering it and whatnot when the goblins ambushed me, and that if that drow was carrying off all of the stuff for it. Oh, I forgot to mention why it's important. There's a forge in there, like way down in the pits of it, that was used to make magic items basically with no effort at all. If you could cast a spell, you could enchant a thing just by funneling your magic into the forge. The amount of power it would bring you to have that in your possession is dramatic. The more time you could have, the more dramatic that, the more drastic, the more items you can make. Like, it's honestly, I was planning to triple my production just by having that in my things, which is why it was such a big deal. Which is why it was such a big deal to find that thing, and why I was talking to Sildar and having him accompany me specifically. Sildar's a guard captain, high-ranking official, so for me to get him to accompany me was no small task. And he didn't believe that this was going to be real. But honestly, the journey that I had you guys take was on like 3 or 4 different levels smuggling something. I had this map that I wanted to get there. There was the boomsticks that I told you were smuggling. There was the rock that I didn't tell you were smuggling because I was afraid that you guys would hang me for being a heretic or something. And then there was also just general supplies that I could ship to Fenton. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't trust you. But also, I knew nothing about you other than the fact that you guys saved the city, which isn't a big deal. But also, he just kind of like sighs. I'm sorry. So, to recap, what we've discovered so far, Nesnar summoned something, probably put a curse on it to make it weaker to do some kind of contact with it. It's likely that the Black Spider, has long-lived and infamous as he is, how he's been at a number of major crime scenes, or crime rings, it's entirely possible that he doesn't have a physical form and is neither alive nor entirely unliving, and is a specter of some kind that is inhabiting people's dreams. He and Nesnar are likely working together because of the fact his skill with transmutation and the fact that large-scale effect that happened was likely a bunch of different kinds of magics converging together and then reacting in a negative way. Or how that might have even been the plan. You discovered that. You discovered that the Wave Echo Cave, and how and the Spellforge there, and how that's a big deal. What else have you discovered? I think there's the big three things. The Black Spider isn't a corporeal being. Something was summoned and cursed, and trying to be made into a warlock patron. And Wave Echo Cave is something that is going to make things a power. Yes, cool. Yes, and the Drow at Cragmaw, you get the sense that when Gundren was sick, Gundren has been in a state of like high levels of exhaustion and was also basically unconscious. But looking at him now, you can also tell that he was injured in some way, likely tortured. And there's like some PTSD response he was having to you mentioning that Drow woman. Nesnar, the spider is not the patron of Nesnar, but it seems like they're working together, in some way. If you mean patron as in the magical sense, then no. If you do not mean patron in the magical sense, then yes. It seems like they were summoning something to try to be the other end of a contract. Exactly.
So, is the next step finding Wave Echo Cave?
Going your size. Without the map, it's not impossible. There's like 70 or 80 mines that have been abandoned, and probably 3 times as many that we didn't even know about, or that have been lost to time. To find Wave Echo Cave specifically is not. I do not favor our chances. What would be easier, maybe, is finding where where Nesnar has been. Because I doubt also that he's managed to find his way to Wave Echo Cave. The map will set him on the path to find it eventually, but if you could find his headquarters and stop him or something, then that would be a massive boon to us. We might be able to go somewhere else from there. Also, we might be able to find any leftover remnants of his work studying the obelisk. Which is going to be helpful, because then we can plan around what they're trying to do. Oh wait, you mentioned the blight earlier at the base of the mountain, right? Base of the hill, right?
I don't think so, and I kind of forgot about the blight.
Cool. I thought I heard somebody mention that.
I did.
No, we haven't mentioned the blight in session yet.
Cool.
I did.
Well, there you go then. Somebody did.
Okay. I think when you mentioned the blight in the hill, he just kind of like looks like a shiver runs down his back. He's like, ugh, that house has always freaked me out. Used to belong to the Tresners. They left it around or abandoned it for some reason. Honestly, I have no idea what even happened to their family. They used to be prominent, but they don't even have any living descendants in Phandelver anymore. The house, definitely some flavor of cursed, because, kids go in there and they make up stories about seeing ghosts and whatnot. But a number of my men had actually been just near the area and seen things move that shouldn't be moving. One of my men was actually injured by like a piece of debris like shooting across the room like an arrow. When he was just he'd lost something in the area and was trying to find it. So getting bad vibes from that place, so to speak.
And how long have the bad vibes and wilted flowers been there?
Bad vibes have been a thing for a long time, like since I was a kid. But the wilted flowers are recent, very recent.
That means that hopefully only a few wolves would have been possibly infected. Spring is just walking and pacing and thinking about the wolves and how they've been affected by the flowers, if at all.
Cool. Make me a nature check.
Nature check. It's hopefully better than my history. Yeah, it's double.
Nice. With 17,
again.
you would know that wolves likely wouldn't be affected by the blight directly. What you would have more concern over are like critters, like rabbits or whatever, that might eat it and then get sick, or affected in some way. But
Yeah, I meant wolves and just general food chain leading up to the wolves as well.
yeah, you haven't noticed anything so drastic higher up on the food chain, but you also haven't been paying much attention to it, being that you've been busy since you've been here. If there are any effects, they aren't yet widespread enough to like cause an ecological collapse. Not yet.
Good. Then they can go prevent that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So then, what's your plan?
To deal with the flowers.
All right. So, plan A is to deal with the flowers. Do you guys have any plans for tracking down Nesno, or is that taking a backseat? Like, what's our immediate focus?
Spring is 100% focused on the flowers.
Okay.
Mikaela is too confused, doesn't know where to go, and Flowers is one of their best leads right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. In that case, Nesno will just kind of nod and say, "All right, you can look there." I'll get to work trying to diagnose, trying to study the obelisk. Tonē. You had an when you went to go look at the obelisk personally without the rest of the party with you, like when everyone was splitting up and doing their things. Would you share anything you learned then, or are you keeping that to yourself?
Was this during the downtime when Tonē was being all sneaky?
Yes.
Cool. Secret solo missions.
Secret solo missions. Oh my goodness. Has the background noise just been being picked up the entire session?
Yeah.
No, they've been mostly quiet spots for me.
Okay.
I've been hearing it.
Okay. I'm terribly sorry.
No, I'm fine with it. I'm not sure about the viewers, but I don't care.
Alright, cool. Does that or no? I think I will. Alright, cool. That is fine. Have you shared anything that happened with the party? Or are you all just keeping that to yourself? Cool. Alright. So then, Gundren would say he's going to study the thing. He will put feelers out into wherever he can with his resources to see if anyone knows anything about a mysterious wizard or something. He's gonna do some research. He thanks you all for saving him one last time. Double checks that Bart paid you in full. After learning, after confirming that with you, he would just kind of clasp his hands together and say, it would just kind of clasp his hands together, give you like a bow, and then turn to leave. Unless anyone has anything else to say to him, then Gundren will be assumed to stay at Bart's provisions. Are you guys going straight to the thingamabob then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
we will go right there.
he paid you in full the 100 gold that you were supposed to have for completing the transport. Like that's been paid in full. Everyone has their gold everyone has their gold from the starting quest. That's been completely resolved.
Hooray!
Huzzah. I know that I asked you specifically how much gold you needed to have, and I gave it to you. How much gold do you have now? It should be something like close to 80 or something you should have right now. Because I know that...
I currently have 75 gold worth of items and money.
I modified my weapons and then bought potions that left me at 36, and then when we saved Sildar, when we saved one, I think it was Gundren actually. When we saved them, we were given 20 gold as payment, so I'm at 56.
Yeah, okay. So, how much gold do you have right now, Tonē? 144. That sounds like you started with a little bit of gold. You stole the other thing, plus 100 gold from the complete transaction, plus 20. That sounds like a reasonable amount. I'm pretty sure you have all the money that you should. But take one more gold so you can round it off to your 145, because that's a nicer number. Okay.
You found the gold on the ground.
Indeed. All right, Gundren. You guys are done with Gundren then?
Yes.
All right, I'll go ahead and...
Unless he wants to give us a peruse around his magic items again.
He definitely does not volunteer that.
Nope. Yes, we done.
He does have items to sell. Is there a specific item you are looking for? Because I can pick up the magic item document and then just like look at some of them and see if any of them interest you, and price them accordingly. Alright, this should be under D&D stuff, DC20 PDFs, and then under magic items. Cool. If you have the document and you look and you want to find some specific combination of stuff, you can just ping me in Discord, and I'll let you know if you would have it and if so, what the price would be. I'm just gonna say, for all future interactions with Gundren and Co., your prices will be discounted by a full 25%, because of how much you have helped them. So, straight to the manor then? Or the abandoned manor, laboratory thing?
We're fully rested.
Cool. You can all set your health points, mana points to full. You take a nap if need be, and then arrive in the spooky house. So, as you arrive in the spooky house, this is going to be a little bit of a different dungeon than before. You guys all hear, as you guys begin to walk up the hill to the house on the manor, you can see that a large portion of it has been burned and just like fell into decay, and that everything that remains after then is covered with like moss and plants and things that just begin to grow and take back this thing. from the ground. You can see the skeletal frame of this house as it stands towering above. Different pieces of the floor, different pieces of different floors having collapsed down to the ground. As it looks like some kind of corpse of a house that just stands atop this hill, imposingly over the people of Phandelver. And as you guys begin to walk up the hill, the sound of the wildlife around you kind of just starts to get a little bit dimmer, a little bit less loud, and you can see that like the air seems heavy, and you get the vibe that this place is just like eerie. And as you get like right up near the house, a mist kind of starts to envelop you, as you cannot see like off the grounds. If they're mundane items, then you can just buy them spring. Anti-ghost things? I
Because
don't.
didn't Spring see something rush past as he was investigating the blight during downtime?
That seems legit. Yeah,
He
it might
peeked
have
his
been.
head over and
Mhm.
got frightened.
Yeah, that sounds legit. If you want to buy something that just does more damage to ghosts or can hit through ghost stuff, that is probably something that Gunnar will be able to produce.
Yeah, I think things that can hit ghosts and also bravery type stuff.
Okay. If you're looking for, so these are separate things. Gunnar will be able to produce like a weapon you can use to hit ghosts. Edward and Octavius might be able to produce a potion of like heroism or something that would prevent you from being frightened.
Cool. And how much would each cost?
I'm figuring that out right now. Can I send that to you? As I have the magic item document on hand. Actually, let me make sure I also remember to move the camera every time you guys move. Alright, so, if you wanted something that can just deal damage to ghosts and bypass resistances, then that would be thinking. A weapon like that would be 25 gold. If you want a weapon that deals bonus damage to ghosts and bypass resistances, then that would be 50. If you wanted a potion that would make you immune to fear effects for the duration of a dungeon, let me check how expensive is a health potion. Health potion. No. Healing potion? Healing potion. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna say a single potion that would make you immune to fear effects for the duration of a dungeon would be worth 25 gold each. And if you're looking for something else, let me know.
How much was it to have the extra damage to ghost?
That would be 15. 50.
Cool. So I can only afford the potion or the ignore resistance weapon.
I think I'm going to have to take a ignore resistance weapon as just. Well, then again, I'm not sure if my like this magical greatsword I got from King Grawl, like it's magical. I'm not sure if that does it.
Yeah. You can make me an Arcana check if you'd like to. Tonē, you could help. I sent you what it does in your DMs, by the way.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Basically like a wand sword. Sword of wand.
That's an 8.
Cool. With an 8, you aren't sure if it would pierce resistances, but it'd be, it'd work. You can make me an Arcana check, Tonē, to see if this would be able to attack ghosts. I would also accept occultism. I don't think your detect magic spell would work here though. Yes. And whatever your final price is at the end of this, we will discount it by 25%.
Oh, right. I forgot about the discount. I could
Alright.
probably get the weapon and the potion.
So with a
And then go
14,
broke.
with a 14, Tonē, you, was this Arcana or Occultism? Arcana, alright. So, with a 14 on Arcana, a 14 on Arcana, I'm gonna say you would know, you would assume that it wouldn't bypass any resistances, but that any of the spells it could cast wouldn't interact with the ghost's physical resistance. Yeah. If you specifically want to bypass a ghost's ability to not get hit by physical weapons, then you have to buy something else.
I can afford both, yay. So I'm going to definitely get one anti-fear potion. And then... do I make my bowler? Yes, that's probably going to be the most useful. I'm going to make my bowlers not just go straight through ghosts.
Okay. As you go to Gundren and ask for all of these things, you notice that he pulls out like a chest full of different like rocks and stuff. And that of the weapons that he has, a lot of them are like whatever weapon it is. In the hilt of the item, there are like these slots in them that he like literally just inserts the block into, and it enchants the weapon. And so he spends a couple of minutes trying to figure out like where he would put this, magic receptacle into your net, and then it's just like, oh, fuck it. And he just like ties the net around one of the boxes and then places in the enchantment thing.
Nice.
These are literally like rocks that have just been like etched into. These are normal like rocks. I don't know what you mean by rocks he sought. Oh, because these rocks here. That makes sense. Haha, I get it. Funny. Okay, I thought you were implying something. Cool. Alright. You have, so, passing resistance is, gonna be, 25 gold, bonus damage is 50, and then anti-fear is, 25.
Yep, I just paid 37.5 gold.
Nice.
Or 37 gold and 5 silver, as far as I know.
Anybody else buy anything, or are we good to go?
I think I'll take my. I will take my chance with the with my greatsword, since with it hitting ghosts. And how much did you say the anti-fear potion was?
25.
Yeah, I'll take one of
Before
those.
discount. After discount, it's almost 19.
Okay, so 56 minus 19, that's... okay, minus 16, that's 40, so 37.
Okay, let me... that. Cool. Purchasing is done?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh. So then, you guys approach the manor with your ghost busting kit all over it. With you go I can't speak words. You arrive at the spooky manor now after breaking to go quickly buy some things. Mikaela during this time goes and talks to Edward. Adding information gained from Gundren about this stuff. You see that Edward becomes, still curious. Octavius doesn't like any of the stuff you're telling him, and almost like puts his hands over his ears to like block it out because he's very like, ugh. My brain is thinking. Hold on. Right. So, remind me what specifically you were trying to get with Edward, so I can adjudicate how much time has passed. How much has changed with him?
Basically, we dumped all of the transmutation stuff we got, like the stones and the books, and gave it to him, and he seemed interested to look into it. We never gave him any directions on what to do. Just wondering if he came up with anything from his own research.
Okay. I'm gonna say that he has cracked a formula for how to build the thing, how to like recreate the potion. Hasn't gotten much further than that though. Um,
Got it.
so he's got the formula to make the thing. Now he needs to figure out how to unmake it, or rather, undo the things that it made, and then he can start producing things. And currently your potions are like in a boiler pot somewhere, like bubbling away. Cool. So, you all begin. You all enter the mists surrounding the manor on top of Phandelver. You hear again the creepy, spooky sounds. Each step creaks with the wood as you enter the manor. You can see that the house is a lot bigger on the inside than you had first expected. You're not sure if that's magic or just trick of the eye. Do you all go in from the same entrance? Do you stick together? Do you spread out? Like, what's the vibe as you explore
I'd
this manor?
assume we stay. I assume we stick together.
Yeah, and Spring drank the potion of Brave right as he got to the door.
Okay. A potion of brave. You don't feel that you are like brimming with confidence or whatever, but you do feel like nothing can scare you. You are in your exact right mind. You approach things with logic, with perfect logic, or to the best of your ability. You guys enter the area, and we're going to enter a skill challenge as you begin to search this place. Showing success. Or no, that should just be called success points. I'm just gonna call this like SCP for success points, and then DC, boom, and I'm gonna add a turn for all of you. As you guys begin to explore the manor, there are a bunch of different floors to this place, and you almost immediately notice that the manor is playing tricks on you. In that things that look like a room that looks like it enters into one room actually goes like almost like diagonally sideways. When you open the door, like this doesn't look like it should spatially connect, and it's just like really weird. There's like mazes all over the place. It feels like going through this house is like exploring a maze. At random points in time, you start to hear like giggling in the back of your mind somewhere. And at one point, you see something like slam down from the roof right in front of you. And like, had you not like stopped with your like sixth sense to the thing, something that falls in front of you and could have entirely crushed you had you not been more cautious. How do you guys explore the manor?
I think I would definitely have my greatsword out. It's just is it really dark in here?
It is at best dim light.
Okay. I have my tremor sense, so I don't need it. But you guys might want to get a light up.
Cool. Oh wait, when you walk through here with your tremor sense,
gonna be
as you
the walking chandelier again.
Cool. Like as you walk through here with your tremor sense, like you can see things and feel things, and those are completely separate things. Like it's the image you are seeing does not match what you are feeling with your legs at all. So, who's doing what?
I think Awake would definitely be taking charge with his greatsword, just like trying his best to just lead the way.
Cool. And also, what are you guys looking for as you enter this place?
I don't know. I'm leaving that up to Spring. He's the one who wanted to come here.
Nothing specific, just anything spooky.
Okay. Abound. Spookiness abound.
Mikaela doesn't really have anything, any way to search for like weird auras or anything, but she can just test anything she could find, like look at the cabinets to see if there's any like hidden, just wrapped in a little shroud, or uh pushing any carpets over for like a trapdoor or something.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
getting an investigation.
Yep, seems legit. So Spring sounds like acrobatics. Michaela's doing investigation. Tonē, what are you doing? And you can, while Tony's typing, Awake, what are you doing?
I guess I would be just like. I guess I'll be like, this place has been long abandoned, right? I guess I'll be searching around for just like, what gave this place its thing. I guess I'll be looking like skeletons and stuff, see if like their people died here and that's why nobody comes here.
Okay. Sure, that sounds like, how are you are you just looking for skeletons?
You know, skeletons or bodies or any sign of like the last people who were here.
Alright, cool. Make me, an awareness check.
Oh. 18.
You haven't been in this place, before, Tonē. This is a different cursed house.
Yeah, this is not the wolf house. This is
Yes.
the.
It's more like a ghost house.
Yeah.
I will say that if you're trying to do history, I could see that, you know, you guys have been doing a lot of reading about this place. Maybe in one of the books that you look through, mentioned something about the layout, and history could go from there, or just rumors or something, some legend that you were reading when you were in the library, stuff like that. That seems applicable. So, roll me that. Alright, so, Mikaela, as you are looking through a bunch of things, you know, opening doors, looking under carpets, being as thorough as you can, your search repeatedly finds like the same. It seems to like every time you open a door or a cabinet or something, you find the same thing, the same unhelpful thing. What is that object, and why do you think it is that you keep finding the same thing?
Something unhelpful, but that's in every drawer.
Yes, not necessarily unhelpful, not necessarily like hindering you, but like you just don't need to use it.
Okay, it's some kind of just like it's like like an Easter egg hunt that like the children of the town do. Like they hide things in the little they hide things in the thing, and dare other children go in and look for them. And Michaela's just finding all of them.
Oh god, perfect. Okay, cool. So, Spring, with your 15, you do earn 1 success point for the party. So, as you are, describe how you being on the roof is assisting the party, and what is brought to light as a result.
As the group walks around the house and gets disoriented by the maze, Spring notices that the roof doesn't always change, so he can spot the original route sometimes and say, no, you shouldn't actually go that way, you go that way.
Awesome. Okay. And Tonē, I want you to type in the chat how you are very confident that you know what's happening here and where you might go, and you do manage to produce like the actual blueprints of the building. And you know, Awake is able to use that to corroborate his, you know, the sense of his touch, and his blind sense. But that you with your own eyes, like looking around, are actually, you actively go down like paths that are incorrect because of your confidence that you're following the blueprint. So, yes. And Awake, while Tonē is typing up his thing, I want you to describe for me how your alertness and blind sense are able to key you guys into the correct location and eventually go down So you are eventually able to find stairs that go down to a secret location.
So pretty much every time someone takes a step in this house, Awake basically feels it, feels the vibration travel up to 15 feet away from it. Eventually, it's just like I think Tonē or someone will take a step, and I will suddenly just feel the stairs and where they are.
Okay. And with an 18, that is a success by 2. So, as you guys are, kind of wandering through this place, trying to stick together, you manage to, as you are, at a couple of points during your journey, one person opens a door, and then by the time they walk through it, the door, kind of slams shut behind you, and you find yourself, in a room that looks like a perfect mirror of the room you were in last. And when you open the door behind you, it leads into another room that is of the same place. And as you're, kind of fumbling about in there, who is it that gets lost and ends up separate from everybody else?
Should we roll a d4?
I don't think I'd get lost considering I can feel you guys. But if you want to roll a d4, I can.
Just give me a name. First name you hear is the person that gets lost.
Let's do Tonē because of his confidence in the map.
Okay, so, in that case, Tonē, as you are confident in the map, you charge through a door, and then turn around and see, see guys, and then you see yourself in this, endless maze of rooms, and you open, door after door after door, trying to find out where the hell, you could even have gone, when you open one last door, and you find yourself in, a room that is kind of based on the vibes of the way it looks more like a basement kind of room. Let me check where you ended up. See, yesterday I prepared a beautiful map for all of this, and I had mapped out the entire space. But when I was downloading, I closed the tab, and it ruined the download and lost all my progress. So I have nothing to show for all of my work.
Oh, that sucks.
It's terrible. Let me bookmark this tab actually, so I don't lose that.
Next time that happens, try Control-Shift-T. It reopens the last closed tab, and sometimes with the same progress.
Yeah, I was using Dungeon Scroll, so as soon as the tab closed, I tried that and it didn't help. Okay, so, everybody else ends up in a room that looks like it looks like you go down the stairs trying to find Tonē, and you find yourself in the basement level of what looks to be a spherical room. Not so spherical that you can't walk. But the room looks like a ball of some sort, and you see that it has 3 attached doorways to it. I'm gonna move us to a blank page, and then just draw as I'm going. Let's go ahead and draw ourselves. I think. All right, let's make the background have a color on it. Board color. Maybe we'll go with dark gray. Boof. Okay, good.
Yeah, cobblestone gray.
Yes. Everyone together, please start inside of that gray circle. Let me make sure that the map is in view. Because we're going to start mapping out this thing. And I'm going to go ahead and change the dimensions of this page to make it be maybe 75 by 50. Yeah, that should be more than enough space. Let me just select everything and move you all down. And put yourselves back inside the circle, please. Boop. Okay, so all you guys start in there, and you immediately get the sense that this room is very humid. And you can see that there's water and condensation drafting up from somewhere further into the dungeon, as it's collecting and then pooling on the ground. It's just there's a very maybe an inch or two high of liquid that you can't quite make out the color of, on the ground, as everything else in this place is like a perfect like a stone sphere. And branching out from it are 3 separate paths. One goes this way, one goes this way, and one goes this way. This path on the top here seems to the 2 paths on the side seem to be like more kind of curved and less straight angles, whereas the path that goes directly in front of you looks to be like a tube of some sort, whereas the ones on the side are like more awkward shapes. The path on the top smells of something vile, and you can hear like a very faint like as though the path of the wind here is causing like some kind of breath to happen. The path in the middle, you can feel the rushing of not the rushing, but like the mist kind of rising up. As you kind of notice that it's on a little bit of a slant downward in front of you, so it's rising up toward you. And then the path to the right is silent, and the tube seems to be like, almost like a silly straw, as it like as the south path kind of goes and like loops around itself like that. So this one is like kind of straight and jagged. This one is like a test tube, and this one is like a silly straw. No sound this way, mist this way, breathing sounds this way. That's what all of you see. Now, Tonē, I'm going to drag your token to somewhere else completely on the map, just over there. You find yourself, as you open the last door and hear the sound of like giggling, as it's been like taunting you this entire time. You find yourself in a square room, or as close to a square as I can quickly draw, way up over here. And you see around you a bunch of mirrors. A bunch of mirrors that kind of point in a bunch of different random directions. Some of them look kind of like portraits. And make me an awareness check as you enter this room.
Yes or no? Stop it with the ice cream already. Enough.
And again, I apologize for the background. I think I'll bounce back and forth between you guys. So, Tonē, you're writing and doing your awareness check. Alright, you can break some mirrors. Awareness for what you see, and then a tactic see for what happens when you break your mirror. The 3 of you on the left side, where are you going?
I think I'd want to go down the middle.
Cool.
Other than what we see at here, do anybody feel anything like excitement, fear, uneasiness?
Awake is definitely feeling just like he's never really like fought with a ghost before, and he's just thinking like he's currently just a bit nervous because he'll have to really change up his strategy. It's like, which is why he's pulling out like he has had his new greatsword in hand the entire time, basically.
Cool.
Meaning I am at a 14 PD.
Yeah. But I was more so asking about any forced feelings because of magics or stuff.
Oh, oops.
Beyond the general eeriness, nothing is forcing you to feel anything right now.
Cool.
Right.
Then Spring is kind of looking between the crazy straw loop-de-loops and the jagged one.
Will we be staying together or splitting up for this dungeon?
That is entirely up to you.
Yeah, that's up to him. That's up to y'all.
Does Awake say anything as he charges ahead down the straight one?
Yeah, he's just going to. He will just say, "Yeah, I'm going down the straight. Seems like the most. Seems like the path someone, whoever ran this place would use."
We don't really see any danger, and we're just looking for maybe like a magic item or something, so I can see that being a reason to split up. But also, Being together means we're more safe in case something does come up.
Yeah, Spring doesn't really want to fight any ghosts alone. But splitting up would
Coward.
be most helpful.
Yeah, you just
No,
drank
he's
the
not a
anti-fear
coward. He
potion.
just knows he's not the DPS party. So yeah, he's gonna hold the torch up to the roof so that the soot and stuff start to leave a trail along the roof that he
Nice.
can follow.
Alright,
As
so...
he follows awake down the straight path.
Alright, awake.
What were the sounds? Okay,
You
it was
hear, like, the sound of,
breathing, mist,
yeah.
and nothing.
Yeah, breathing, mist, and nothing.
You'll fall in the mist.
Alright, cool. You guys all follow the mist. Alright, so, Tonē, as you kind of look around, you see, in this complex of mirrors, that, like, facing each other, you can, almost at one point, as you, like, walk in, you kind of see the back of your head, from one of the mirrors. You can, like, almost see yourself in all angles if you look somewhere. And you're kind of looking around, and it seems like every time you look at a mirror, something, you just missed something out of the corner of your eye, that is either moving too fast for you to track, or just your eyes playing tricks on you. And as you, like, are doing this, and you're like, stop, and then you, like, take out one of your weapons and just smash a mirror, you hear, like, the loudest shattering sound. It seems like all of them echo it back at you, and your, like, head hurts, a little bit. And you see that some of the portraits, who look to be, like, of people that just, maybe members of the Treasurer family or something, but they had their eyes kind of, their hands clasped together and their eyes, closed, they were looking down. And a couple of them were in, like, various different poses. But you notice, like, almost all of them open their eyes, and stare at you with, like, a look of, intensity and perhaps, violence. What do you do? And this is for Tonē. I'm going to just focus ping every time I do anything, and hope that that is enough to get the camera in focus. Okay. Hell yeah, you absolutely begin to wreck shop in here. You just begin to break and destroy things. And as you are crashing and throwing things against each other, let me check my notes. So you throw one of the paintings at another painting, you hear it kind of clatter to the ground, and you just, like, in a fit of, like, rage almost as you're breaking things, you go to slash at one of the portraits, and then you see the, right before you, like, go to swing or throw your sword, you see that the portrait changed from looking like, just, like, some nondescript, like, gnome person, to looking like yourself with the sword, ready to throw it at you. Do you commit to the action, or do you not? Okay. So you throw the sword into the portrait, and you see it rip. Kind of as the sword pierces through, sticks into the wall, and you dodge at the same time. Make me an agility save, as you hear the sound of fabric ripping, and then, like, an ear-piercing screech, at the same time. And you guys on the other side of the manor also hear this ear-piercing screech that echoes through the entire manor. Give me your agility save. Oof. So, as you throw this sword, it pierces into it, and then you see like almost a phantasmal force, something you can't even see, or that you don't see. You see how the air. It's like looking through like a glass of water or something. It's like warbles the air, and something pierces through your armor into your body, and you're going to take 3 points of true damage, as you basically tear this portrait. One of them just disappears, and you see all the rest of them turn to look like yourself, and you see the figures, even if you do not, start to like put one hand against the portrait and push against it. You can see the fabric starting to bend outward. And I'm not sure if I did mention this, but you do see a pathway. 3 points of true damage, yes. At this point, you like basically destroyed everything in here, or a lot of things. You see behind one of the mirrors a hallway that goes this way. One of the portraits that is still a picture looks. One of the things is clearly a picture, but it looks like a door that goes this way. And one of them looks like a picture of a furnace, or like a furnace room or something. Okay. Non-descript hallway. Picture, door, picture. Alright. So, while Tonē is over there making his decision, let us focus ping back over here. As you find yourself in a room over here. This room, as you kind of just walk through, you get like the scent of something that smells weird. You can't quite place your finger on it, but it's a lot of different smells that almost kind of smell like perfume. But it's not. Something about it is just bizarre. As I'm going to put an empty token here, and then in the center of that, and then I'm going to give it an aura, and we're going to make it be a gray aura, and we're going to make it be like 6 points. Is that good? Yes. But let's make it a circle. As you enter the next room, you find that it is heavily. I'm kind of sad that it's not going through this. Can I do that? Yeah, there you go. You see that it is kind of it is heavily covered in like mist or smoke or something. As once you get in, it is very hard to actually see.
Does this smoke or whatever cut off my torchlight?
No, I mean, a little, like you can still see to the extent of your torchlight. It would lessen your torchlight, yes. But you can still, your torch still functions like a torch.
Cool. Then I'm gonna start getting closer to try see what the source of this fog is.
Okay. So as you enter this room, and Mikaela, do be sure to move your token along. As you enter this room...
Mikaela was staying behind out of my torchlight and
Oh, out of your I see, cool. That would explain why you're not following.
Yeah.
So, you enter this room, and as you cannot see very well, you start to walk inside. And all three of you guys, make me awareness checks, please. As you may or may not see what is about to happen. Okay. Cool. Alright, Tonē, you will go first in that battle. Tonē, you can plan out your turn, just kind of in the text, like type of message. 3 copies of yourself are going to pierce from the painting and attempt to attack you, swinging their swords as opposed to throwing them. As it seems like they are not perfect copies of you. Cool. Spring and Mikaela and Awake, did you roll awareness?
Yeah,
Oh, let me.
I got
let me roll
13.
around.
Yeah.
I got 13 as well.
Is there a reason you're
Is
rolling
the
with
Awake gonna make it a
disadvantage,
triple?
Mikaela?
Yeah,
No.
because of the exhaustion from the downtime.
Yes, cool. Thank you. So, as you guys all enter this room, you see very full of fog, hard to see very far in front of you. With those rolls, you guys do not notice something, but who is in the most in front?
Awake.
Always
cool.
awake.
Always awake. Awake, please make me an agility save. As you
Boy.
step foot maybe like halfway through the room, and then Spring, you see something whiz through Awake with a 13. That is just enough. You're gonna take half. You're gonna take so that would be 1 point of piercing damage, or bludgeoning damage, as literally just like a rock is picked up and shot through Awake and kind of clatters to the ground behind him, sizzling with acidic thing from Awake's slime. As it clatters to the ground right in front of you. Spring. You have no idea where it came from or who threw it.
Clarification question.
Mhm.
Is this token next to me just to give the aura effect?
Just
or
to
is
give
it
the
a
aura
thing that
effect,
I
yes.
haven't just yet?
Yeah.
Got it.
Just a bunch of aura things, because I was like, I want it to look foggy. Rip fancy map.
Yep, sad. Spring is gonna start going towards a wall and hope that he can narrow down the direction of the next attack.
Okay. So you begin to, you head to the wall, torch aloft, trying to dodge any things. Another rock is picked up, and I'm going to roll a d2. No, I'll roll d3.
Also, I am still on the roof.
So, you're still on the roof. Epic. Cool. Awake, make me another agility save, and you can, what are you doing as you, begin to get pelted by a bunch of things from out of sight?
I think awake would definitely just be like moving forward, basically just trying to sense it, within like 15 feet of him.
Your blind sight is 3 spaces?
Yeah.
Alright, so as you kind of go into the room, I'm going to say, Awake, you basically know the layout of the room, and you know that this room isn't completely and entirely empty.
So I don't see it, like, I sense nothing.
You sense no physical presence in the room, as you're being pelted by stones. Let me also put you on front so I can see how big your aura goes. As you step kind of toward the exit of the room, you do sense that there is a doorway or something here that is completely sealed. And then you start to hear laughter as the like laughter like a child, as the smoke kind of starts to swirl and things, and like you feel the ground around you starting to move and shift, and it seems like the room itself is rotating.
Whoa.
And you feel the door.
Whoa.
You feel this door like there's no longer a door here anymore.
So
Mikaela,
it sounds like the walls are rotating, not the floor?
Yes. As
Cool.
Mikaela, you see the door in front of you get locked off. And the room basically takes the shape of being like that now, more or less.
Oh, it just leaves?
Yep, you see like the where there was an opening in the wall, just like here, like as stone slides across stone, and there's no longer a door there.
Oh,
Uh,
dang.
You find Awake and Spring, 2 doors on either ends of this room now.
I think I'm going to immediately rush up to this door and, with my greatsword, good old shattering force, I auto-crit objects.
Epic. The door explodes as you rush into the next area, which is supposed to be a pentagon. So I'm going to draw a pentagon as best I can.
And I'm just like, I am not like, that is clearly a ghost, and I can't see them. So.
Okay. This room I'm gonna have a. What's in this room? So as you enter the next room, I think I like the. I want to give it like an interesting color of floor, but I don't know what color to it. Let's go like light blue. And then I'll make that a little bit bigger. As you enter the next room, awake, you can just move yourself into there. As these two paths connect together, you see the curly path. Make me another awareness check. And Spring, do you follow awake?
No, he is gonna stay behind and wait for Mikaela. While he does so, he's gonna hold a bowler weapon, a bowler weapon at ready for throwing at this ghost and hopefully capturing it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Because
In that
now his
case,
bowler can touch ghosts.
indeed. In that case, make me an awareness check to try to target the location of this thing. As I'm going to say, you take like the search action. Tony, what does your turn look like? As in your room, 3 mirror images of you step through, wielding whatever the first weapon was that you drew, attempting to attack you. You get the jump on them. No, you act first, rather.
Ooh, yeah, I spot that ghost.
Hell yeah! Make me an tactic with advantage as you see something that looks like some child or something that is translucent and almost invisible, just picking up rocks and laughing. Anti-ghost goes dagger, yes. Hell yeah. Alright.
21 to catch the child ghost.
Right. I'm going to use the new rules for how Claudio is ruling the capture weapons, and that is that they make a physical save. So its physical save is -2. Yep, and it is captured and restrained as you throw the bola and it wraps around the child and kind of like starts to like cry and attempt to float, and you see that he like falls to the ground, not limp but completely unable to move.
Spring is just gonna walk over and kneel down and say, "It's okay, I just didn't want you throwing more things at us."
Okay. Alright, you may throw the first ghost dagger. Mikaela, while Tony is doing his rolls, what are you doing? Oh, right. And I
Well,
should...
stone wall now. Probably gonna take one of the different passages.
Alright. You heard the sound of screeching from way further in the dungeon, like way over somewhere in this direction.
A bit wary of the breathing sound coming from the jagged pathway, Mikaela will just run down the silent one, trying to also stay silent herself.
Alright, cool. You can make me a stealth... Oh! My mom was calling me. Give me 1 second. Alright, looking like we're just about getting ready to end soon. So I think I'll go ahead and resolve Tony's combat, explain what Awake sees, get Mikaela through her tunnel, and then we'll probably end after that. Cool. You rolled a 16. 16 is a normal hit. I'll roll a save vs exposed. Exposed. 14, I think, is exactly it, so that will just pass. With the lightning rod, until their turn, you couldn't hit more than 1. What do you do? Yes. Yep, cool. I will mark that on the bottom guy. Dagger appears in, you hear the ripping of fabric as you stab into him. Continues to take your turn. I'm going to go ahead and move over to Mikaela while you do so, interrupting as necessary. Mikaela, you said you wanted to go stealthy. If so, you can roll me a stealth check as you wander through the passageway. Your dark vision allows you to see all the way up to the corners. Cool. You feel reasonably stealthy as you begin to walk down this corridor, which seems to break into seemingly like normal stone, even though it loops in and around itself. And it feels very narrow and cramped. And as you're walking, you can see the water starting to trickle down through this passageway and then down into somewhere else. Oh, you did a Sacred Bolt. I don't think I saw the Sacred Bolt track. If it's Sacred Bolt, then that would be a heavy hit, and I'll add 1 damage to the enemy. What was that, 16? Yeah, cool. So, Sam, you may begin to walk down the hallway. Feels very cramped. You almost like slept once or twice, due to the liquid on the ground. Sam is back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, yeah. You may choose to advance all the way through the tunnel if you so wish.
Right.
Okay. On the other end of this tunnel, alright, if those are the 2 Sacred Bolts, then that'll be an additional 3 damage, for a total of 4 so far, Tonē. Or 5. As you see one of them, as you light it up with daggers and holy magic, rips and explodes. That happens on your side. Mikaela, on your side, as you arrive at the end of this tunnel, which I'm just gonna quickly stretch out a little bit as I realize it should go farther than it does. So you're more like over there by the end of it. You see a massive spherical room, like the one you first came in, but in the center of this one, there is what looks to be some kind of like potion mixing device. It seems to be made out of gold, and it's got like a bunch of different like arms and levers and stuff, as it like kind of stands in the center of this room, and just kind of like rotates. I'll see if I can get a token for it. You can see in each of 8 positions, equally spaced around it, are some cauldrons, which each have a different color of liquid on it, and there's a desk right here, which seems to be like seems to have like a potion recipe in it. Let me scroll down. And I'll add all of those things as soon as I can. What do you do?
Is that all I see? I'm able to look closer for like a trap on my trigger once I cross the threshold into the room, like looking up or down for like a tripwire.
Sure, make me an awareness check, see if you spot anything. I wonder if anything is going to be here that fits the vibe even slightly.
Nine.
Okay, with a 9, you feel reasonably confident that there are no traps that you can, at least no traps you can see. I'm gonna pretend that this is the device. You know, it's
Right. Oh. Remember you said there was a desk and some cauldrons.
That's correct. doing my best to find a desk token. There we go. Boom. There's your desk. As there's a book on top of it, which seems to have... Oh, no, here's an actual table. Awesome. You got a table there, and there is a book on top of the table. That's not a book.
Yes, it is.
And then you have a bunch of cauldrons, evenly spaced around. Oof. And there are 8 of them, each of them with a different colored liquid. And as you enter the room, you notice that there is a grate of like multicolored fire that goes from the top and bottoms at the edge of a what looks to be... It looks like there's a passageway beyond that bears a similar like shape to the one you just walked out of. The weird like silly straw. As there's like a multicolored fire over here.
What was the device in the middle again?
It seems to be like something that is used to mix potions. There's a couple different slots to put liquid in.
Mikaela hopes Edward and Octavius were here. This isn't her strength. But she would hurry up to the the book and start scanning it in order to just keep moving forward and try to make it back to the middle any way she can.
Do you have cryptography or alchemy?
Nope.
Okay, then make me a straight intelligence check as you attempt to decipher the book. Cool. With a 16, you get the sense from reading this book that inside each of these vats are obviously different materials that, when mixed in the correct order, will give you immunity to whatever this fire is, and that the key to understanding this is on a page that has been ripped out of the book and is somewhere else in the dungeon. So this is like a puzzle that you currently don't have enough information to solve. Or at least not completely solve.
Alright. Then probably go to other characters, because Mikaela would have no choice but to run up the breathing room.
Alright. Awake. As you enter this room over here, you see that in each of the corners of this place are what look to be massive like vats, or like almost like test tubes, or some kind of capsule in each of the corners that is filled with a color of liquid that is kind of like almost like a sickly green. And inside each of these things are what look to be like gestating humanoid creatures, maybe? Like they are definitely nowhere near their finished form, and they look grotesque with their features all kind of like marred, and they look more like genetic experiments than actual like creatures. And you see a passageway that leads into another room where you hear the sounds of fighting and Tony screeching, or not screeching, but like grunting with exertion, as some of the creatures in the like capsules seems to wake up at the sound of the fight and bang on the glass that keeps them inside.
I'm going to go up to this one, and I'm just going to try to kill the thing in it.
Kill the thing in it? Awesome. Okay, make me an attack check. And then -5 from it, as we're going to consider it as having 3/4 cover. You shatter the glass.
Okay, D20 -1, because I'm using my greatsword, and... Oh, wow. That's a 4.
Okay, for the 4, you slam your greatsword against this thing, and you hear it crack, and you see the creature inside kind of look at you, and then start to pound on the glass, and it's like crack, 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 crack. And I'm going to want you also to roll initiative, as it is going to attempt to like pound and break out of this thing. You see the rest of them also breaking, slamming on the glass. Cool. That'll be enough, and you'll go be going in initiative after Tonē. Mikaela, roll me initiative too. As you are gonna sprint upward. I'm gonna put you like right there at the start of the combat since you're like rushing there. Spring, you hear what is going on. You have this ghost kid next to you who is crouched on the ground, kind of like crying. What are you doing?
I'm going to. Did the capture weapon seem to make them solid, or do they just not
They
able
just
to
don't-
use ghost
yeah.
powers or something?
It seems like they cannot phase through the capture weapon.
Cool. Then I'm going to try pick them up and carry them with to try be helpful.
Okay. In that case, make me an initiative check as you enter this room.
This is probably athletics, which I have disadvantage on from stress.
Okay. Homunculus. Okay. So Tonē rolled a 19 on his initiative, right? That feels right to me. Alright, so we got 19.
That is their sacred bolt. That was the
Yeah.
19, I think.
Yeah, it happens to you guys. I just added you guys to initiative in the exact correct order, which is nice. Cool. And we will begin next thing with the turn of the paintings. They're going to attack Tonē. Yeah. As can be deciphered, I was not very prepared for the session. So let's go ahead and move to the sign-off page.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We are all go to the sign-off page and zoom out as we have completed episode 13. I have been Lord Gob, the DM of the DC20 Lost Minds of Phandelver Homebrew campaign. Players sign off, starting with Jaku.
Hello, I have been. Well, not hello, what am I doing? Ugh. I hope you all enjoyed. I've been Jaku. Sorry we had to cut this short. Tonē and I we started feeling worse as time went on, and we just couldn't keep going. We hope you all enjoy.
Yeah, all right.
And we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for bearing with us through your sickness. Tonē, you can drop a sign off in the chat. Mikaela, or Sven.
This is Spring saying goodbye, chat. We'll see you in part 2.
Samarand.
Oh.
And Tonē. Bye.